All right, so I want to show you today what I think is the coolest thing in the world. Check this out. Walking up to a banana plant in your own backyard, plucking off a banana and eating it, it's got to be the most awesome thing. And a homegrown banana, let me tell you, I am learning they taste way better than a store-bought banana. Yeah, better texture, better flavor. So this is my first time growing bananas, and it was definitely a success. And I learned a lot along the way. So I thought I'd take a minute today to kind of go through what I did, and maybe I can show you some tips that'll help you in your own effort to try to grow bananas. All right, so here we go. Let's do it. All right, so what you see over here, these are Dwarf Cavendish banana, I believe. It wasn't labeled at the store where I got it. I got it from Lowe's a couple years back. And the center one, the one that I actually just pulled the banana off of, that was the first one. And it was only one that I bought. Right now you can see there's 3 good sized plants there. And the one with the banana on it, I guess we would call that the mother, and the others are going to be the daughters. And so now that the mother has put out fruit, once all those bananas are ripe, and I've eaten them through them, because we'll cut the tree down and we'll feed it back by chopping it up and putting it back down on the ground. You could take the bananas off of there right now if you were going to be able to eat them through them that quickly. I'm not going to be able to eat through them that quickly, and so I'm going to take them off as I need them, and if some go bad, then some go bad, but that is what it is. So anyways, these are Dwarf Cavendish, so you can see that they're about maybe 9 feet tall, 10 foot tall. So other banana varieties will get really tall. These ones don't get as tall, that's why they're called a dwarf, I suppose. So, but they do reproduce on their own as far as putting up new plants, so that once the first one has fruited, you have more coming. So let's move in a little closer. Okay, so this one right here, right, that is the mother plant. That was the first one that I put in. And when I got it, it was maybe 2 or 3 foot tall. And they grow pretty quickly, but it did not fruit in that first year. It went through the winter and we got some frost, which killed it. So I had to cut it back, and then it regrew, started putting out these other 2, these daughters. And oh, look at that. I didn't even notice that. We have more bananas coming here. Look at that. So this is what they look like when they're putting bananas out. This flower is going to come out from the top up here. As it comes out, as these flowers open up, I don't know if we're going to be able to see inside of there more bananas. No, but in a couple days, if we come back out and look there, you would see little tiny groups of bananas in there. As the bloom opens up, it puts out these hands of bananas. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that those were there. So once that one is done and we've got all the fruit off of it, we'll take it out, we'll chop it up, and we'll feed it back to the ground. Bananas are really heavy feeders. They like lots of food and they like lots of water. You really almost can't overwater a banana tree. I should stop saying tree. They're really not a tree, they're a plant. But I mean, you can give them 10 gallons of water a day, they're gonna be perfectly happy. So they like water, they like low-lying areas that are gonna hold water. You can see over here we've got more pups coming in. Now if you want, you can transplant these to a different area, and they just keep putting them up, right? So if you let it go, you will eventually have a huge bunch of banana trees, banana plants. Gotta stop saying that. To feed them, I didn't use any fertilizer. What I do is, when these ones are dead like this, right, you can come along, cut this off of there, chop it up, and throw it on the ground. That's all I do to feed them. They put off enough of these, you're gonna have plenty of feed, because they're basically cannibals. They like to eat themselves. So now again, these are the Cavendish ones. Now let's go look at some others. Okay, so here's a couple other varieties of the banana. This one here is a Chiquita, and I got this from a local nursery. Again, when I got it, it was about maybe 2 or 3 foot tall, just about down here. And I've had it for about, well, maybe 6 months now, and she's up there. So I would expect that next year we should be able to get fruit off of that. Hang on a second. Now you can see it is starting to put up its first little daughter here, or pup. And now there's different kinds if you wanted to transplant these. Some are called sword pups, I think, and the others I believe are called water pups. So you can do more research on that, but I believe the water pups are the ones you want, if that's the right term for them, and the sword pups are not. Do some more research. But anyways, and then this one over here you can see is taller and not quite as fat as the others. The owner, I transplanted this one from my brother-in-law, and he believes that this is an ice cream banana. And so we'll see if that's accurate. It will probably get another 3 or 4 foot tall, so it might get close to the roof line up there. And it does have some pups coming out now. I transplanted this one probably about 4 months ago, and so it's doing good. It hasn't grown a lot in height since I got it, since I brought it over here. It's grown maybe a foot, if that even. It was about this size when I brought it over here, but it seems to be doing healthy. It seems to have survived the transplant no problem. And maybe in the future we'll do some video on how to transplant these. I'm really curious to see what the ice cream banana tastes like. Obviously we know what a Chiquita banana tastes like. Get those in the grocery store. All right, let's hit a couple of points about the bananas once they've fruited. So that you saw on the other one over there, that flower at the bottom. Once it has stopped putting out hands, there's not going to be any more new hands of bananas coming off. You can actually chop that flower off of there, and some people cook it and eat it. I haven't done so. I don't know if it's any good, but if you're interested, I suppose you could look up how to do that and what recipes there are for it. But they do take a long time to ripen. So these all came out probably 3 months ago or more. You saw on the other ones, they start out very thin, and then as they get nutrients and water and foods to them delivered from the plant, they start to fill out, become bigger, and once they really get to like kind of their full size, and they you might want to take them off when they're green, but really once they're kind of full size, I noticed that they a couple of them started to soften up. That's how I knew that they were ready. And otherwise, you can do like I'm doing here also and just leave some of them on there and pluck them off. But I did cut off a hand and took it inside to ripen, and gave some away as well. So, but they do take a long time to ripen. So don't be afraid. Now, if you get too late in the year though, they might not ripen. If you're in a colder area, we've been having a pretty warm winter, so that's probably why these did ripen. Those other ones that just came out over there, they probably will not. It's probably way too late in the season for those. So we'll see. Again, this is my first time, so I'm learning as we're going here. But yeah. Okay, so let me show you how I do the feeding I was talking about. So you see this leaf right here, it's yellow, it's limp, it's falling down. This is going to be gone pretty soon here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this because it's not really going to be doing anything more at this point for the tree. Now you can use scissors, right? Or you can use a knife or a machete or something. These ones down here, they're really kind of dead. You're going to be best off probably with your scissors. So just snip them off and then cut them up, right? Because these got so dead, they've probably gone too far. They're probably not going to provide much of any nutrition for the plant. They might provide something, but I think just my intuition is that something with a little bit more life left in it like this probably has more to give. So I typically try to get them when they're like this. Right? Did you see that water come out of there? So it's still got a little life in it, but it's not really doing much of anything for the plant at this point. And so, like I say, you can use the scissors, or if you've got a machete or a knife, you can use that too. Just be safe, be careful. This is getting a little flimsy for a knife, you can see, right? When they were a little greener, you could get away with that. But at this point, scissors are probably going to be best. So just cut them up I cut them up into smaller pieces to let it break down quicker. The leaf portion here, you can quickly strip that. This part, I usually just roll it up, throw it on the ground. It's gonna break down pretty quickly. And then the leaves, just break them up a little bit. And there you go. And that's about all there is to it. There are fertilizers you can get for banana, but I haven't found that I need them. Now, also, if these pups coming in, if you don't want them to grow there, you can cut those back too. They're just gonna regrow right from where they were, but you can just keep cutting them back and feeding those to the plant too. Now, also I wanna mention real quickly, you'll notice these braces here. So bananas do not have real strong root systems, and when they put the fruit out, the weight of the fruit can actually sometimes cause the tree to lean extra and be susceptible to falling over, especially if you had some winds come through or if you have really loose soil. So the braces there, I put those there to help hold this up, to stop that from happening. And you can get as creative as you like about how you do it. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just as long as it does the job. So now that I see this one has some fruit on it, you can see it already has a little bit of a lean going to it. That was its natural lean before the fruit came on. So now that these are ripening, pretty soon I can probably take those braces off of there and put them onto this one. This one over here, you can see, has a really good lean to it already. If it puts fruit out, then that one really would be susceptible to falling, so we'll definitely have to make sure to brace that. One thing that you never want to do is you never want to take any of this outer bark and peel it down, right? Because that will expose the tree to possible infections from whatever, diseases and bugs and whatnot. So you never want to peel that down. Just cut it off right where it is, right, and leave the rest there. It's just like this right here. You see where I cut this off right here? You want to just leave them there, don't peel it down. Additionally, if you do that, that's going to thin out the tree and make it weaker. Okay, so I guess that's probably going to about wrap it up. I didn't have any issues with pests. I don't know that there are really much of any issues with pests with these, because I'm in Florida and we get a lot of rain. I didn't have too much issue with it being dry. I mean, I got lots of water. I had to water it a few times, but you know, Mother Nature took care of most of it. And if you get those frosts in the wintertime that kill the plant, or look like they're killing the plant will come back. All you have to do is you just cut it back to where the damage stops, and it will regrow. And they grow quickly. So like I said, it was last winter that we got the frost damage. Now here we are almost a full year later, and I'm eating off the tree. Plant. Stop saying plant. Or, you got the idea. Anyways, I don't know. I hope that there was some information here that was helpful for somebody who's trying to do this for the first time as well. And I thank you for watching. Have a great day.